G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and the absolute privilege to talk about the greatest sport in the world, rugby. And we are less than 1 week away from the greatest sporting event in the history of the human race, the Rugby World Cup. Yes, we're almost there, guys, and it's time to make my predictions for the winner for the 2023 Rugby World Cup. Now, you might be saying, hey, Wildcard, hey. Pretty sure you already made your predictions, Wildcard, like a month ago, where you have boldly and stupidly claimed that the All Blacks was going to win the Rugby World Cup. You can't change that. Yes, I can. I'm going to change it right now, all right? And it's not because the All Blacks lost to the Springboks. No. That's not the reason, okay? That's not my reason for reselecting my Rugby World Cup winner, okay? I'll show you why I decided to change my selections. That's a Hawaiian shirt, not an All Black jersey, okay? I don't know who came out with this design. That is atrocious. That is like, I don't know how you actually make a black jersey look bad, but they've done it. That look like some scribble that 2-year-olds draw, and then they just like, yeah, that looks good. It's okay. I know what happened now. Okay, because obviously New Zealand rugby have no sense of design or sense of humor, right? This must be like back in April when they're submitting the jersey designs, right? And somebody showed to work on 1st of April, thought, this would be a great joke. Let's see how this one go down. They just went and took the photo, took the picture that the kid draw, right, from kindergarten, from the fridge, and they went to work, and it's like, yeah, guys, this is my design. And the New Zealand rugby looked at it and went, oh, Jimmy, that is delightful, mate. Oh, mate, that is so good. Look, guys, I think we'll just go with that design, shall we? Yeah, Jimmy, anybody else got a design? Oh, Karen, mate, look, Karen, we've had this conversation before, mate. We can't put the sheep on the jersey. The sheep union said, nah. All right, we'll go with yours, Jimmy. Okay? And that's how they settled on the jersey. And then, that's why, no team wearing that, a Hawaiian shirt, it's going to win the Rugby World Cup, okay? And that is why I'm changing my selections. So, let's start, okay? So Group A, New Zealand versus France, the first game. I do think that France will beat New Zealand because just the way the New Zealand played really poorly against the rush defense, and New Zealand will bounce back, but I think the French will edge this one out at number 1. And New Zealand will finish number 2, Italy number 3, Uruguay, Namibia. Done. Group A. Group B, the group of ultra, super, mega, duper, uber death. So obviously these 3 contenders could potentially make it out. So there's a couple of really interesting factors to consider in this pool, is how the pool is actually set up. The pool is set up in the way that South Africa plays Scotland first and then have a break, and then play Ireland and have another break before going into the quarterfinals, whereas Ireland goes I think they go Romania, Tonga, South Africa, Scotland. So they have the tough 2 games right at the end. So they're basically playing elimination rounds before even getting to the quarterfinals. And it's super, super tough. And Tonga has already come out and stated that they wanted to just throw everything they have and walk away with this World Cup, a win against Ireland. So that's what Tonga's aiming at as well. So everybody's gunning for Ireland. And just the way that, just based on that fact, I think this might be really difficult for Ireland to actually even make out of the pool. So, and obviously Johnny Sexton has got himself suspended, hasn't played for 6 months, yada, yada, yada. And Ireland really is a different team without Johnny Sexton. So with that being said, who do I think will finish number 1? I do think that South Africa will finish number 1 just because South Africa against Scotland is a really good match up for South Africa because the way that all the weaknesses of the Scottish team, like the front rowers, the rush defense against the Scottish team, the line speed, all in pace plays into the favor of the South African team's strengths. So I do think that South Africa will finish number 1. But whether it's Scotland or Ireland who's going to finish number 2, so it's going to be like an elimination match in the final round where Scotland will play Ireland. The big difference here is I think Scotland will actually upset Ireland here because Ireland would have played South Africa the week before, and we know Ireland has such a thin depth when it comes to Johnny Sexton. If Johnny Sexton gets any sort of bump or knock and goes out for a week, he's and I don't see Ireland beat Scotland without Johnny Sexton, to be really frank, considering how good Scotland is performing these days. So I will actually have to say that Scotland will go out ahead of Ireland in the pool stage. Yeah, it's a bit cool, but that's how I see it. Just the way that it's stacked against Ireland. And Johnny Sexton really not doing the team much favors going into the Rugby World Cup as well. So we'll have to see. Maybe I'm wrong, but and then my jersey investment for the Scottish, for the Irish team, it's gonna be refunded. But we'll see how that goes. So obviously Ireland finished 3rd, Tonga and Romania, right? And then Group C, despite this is like the easiest pool in the history of the Rugby World Cup ever, right? Somehow I can't pick which team is going to get eliminated because everybody is equally bad. So obviously I'm talking about Wales and Australia. I do think that with the recent performances of the Fijian team, I think Fiji will actually finish in number 1. They have beaten England. They have already beaten Wales in the past. It's just a matter of beating Australia. And I think with all the experience they've had from Super Rugby, all the things that it was, and then with all the I just think that the Aussies, in fact, the players that are selected to play for the Wallabies aren't even like the experienced players that can edge out Fiji. I think it's like too inexperienced for the physicality that Fiji is going to bring, like too young of a team to cope with the physicality. So I think Fiji will actually beat Australia for the first time. But when it comes to Australia versus Wales, who's going to win this one? I do think that the Wallabies will edge out Wales, because if they don't, I'm going to go to sleep every night and not watching anything anymore. Okay? I'm going to go to sleep early, have a good night's sleep. So I really don't wish that happens because I don't like to go to sleep early. So hopefully Wallabies will win here. Wales next, and Georgia and Portugal. Georgia has been quite good as well. I do foresee Georgia potentially even putting up an upset against Wales. Again, they've already been in Wales in the past. The Georgian rugby has really good structure. It's not very polished. Like there's small mistakes here and there, but in terms of their attacking line, the defensive line, I look really like first tier 1 nation level like style. And then also Georgians have a well known to be good at the maul and the scrummaging, which I think will give Welsh a bit of an issue as well. They have a few sort of youngsters coming through the front rowers there as well. So I think that they could potentially even be Georgia at 3rd. But I'm just gonna go with, in fact, potentially Georgia 3rd. I'm gonna just do this. Georgia's gonna be 3rd, Wales is gonna be 4th, and Portugal is gonna be 5th. Finally, our last group. This one, I think Argentina will definitely come out on top. They have beaten England last year away under Eddie Jones. They have beaten Australia this year away in Australia. They have been really good. The only team they struggled is the rush defense against the Springboks. And I think that Argentina greatly improved their discipline, the big weakness that they had, and they have a goal kicker that is world class, and their attack, the number 10, Santiago Carreras has been becoming one of the more spicier players out of the 10 jersey as well. So I'll say Argentina will finish number 1 here. Number 2, I think England will go over Japan, unfortunately, because Japan currently, the way they played in the warm-up, they really need to do massive turnaround to beat England. And they lost to Fiji. They just really hasn't looked nearly as good as they have been since 2019. And I do think that England will go over Japan here. England do have Argentina and Japan first 2 match, and they are going to play those matches without Benny Villapola and Owen Farrell. But I just think that Japan, even without Owen Farrell and without Billy Villapola, it's just not going to be quite there. So then I think Japan and Samoa will be close. I think Samoa might actually beat Japan here, considering that they did beat Japan in the Pacific Nations Cup, but that was with a red card. So I do think that Samoa might even beat Japan here, and then Japan fourth and Chile last. So quarterfinals, we've got some big predictions coming up. We've got Fiji versus England. We've all want to see this rematch. This one, the dress rehearsal happened where Fiji has been England. So this time England's gonna throw the kitchen sink at it, and so does Fiji. So this will be really high pressure. I really hope Fiji makes through. I do think this is gonna be really difficult. I think England will probably play like their best game of the whole tournament in this quarterfinal match just to try to beat Fiji. But I think, I'm going to go with my instinct. I think Fiji just have a more cohesive team. I think the England team is demoralized, even throwing the kitchen sink at it. I think their coordination and their combination is just not going to be as smooth as Fiji. But this is going to be a big game. And I think Fiji will make it to the semifinals for the first time. South Africa versus New Zealand. We want to see this replay as well from the warm-up. Again, I do think that South Africa will just beat New Zealand here because how dominant the South Africans were, and the style, the rush defense, the goal kicking from Manny Lebok. The New Zealand also has a massive discipline issue that was exposed by South Africans, so they will just capitalize on that a bit. And I do think that South Africa, with better discipline, will win this match over New Zealand. Argentina versus Australia. Michael Cheika versus Eddie Jones. Sir Eddie versus Michael Cheika. I do think that Michael Cheika will go over Australia again. Just because they beat Australia away in Sydney. And I just don't see, being a neutral venue, going to play any favors into Australia. Also, Michael Cheika knows the Australian team inside out. Eddie Jones have proposed that he's, planning certain strategies for certain teams. But so far, based on the Rugby Championship, I really don't see. I feel like, we'll have to see unless something drastically changed. I just don't see. In fact, I don't see some of the talents in the Australian team can actually do it with so little time in preparation. So I think Argentina will just win this one. France versus Scotland. I think the home team will win this one. Scotland, after beating, coming out of the huge win over Ireland in the previous round, would definitely be licking their wounds, and they will be struggling against a French team that's had pretty much the whole pool stage, like a break in the pool stages, essentially not really having to do too much. Probably just put the B team on to cruise out the pool stage. So the French team will be fresh, will be ready to go, will be itching for action, some of the players, and I think Scotland will just be on the receiving end of it a little bit here. Semi-finals, South Africa versus Fiji. I do think that the South Africans will win this one, and this will be be probably the best result for the Fijians, potentially getting third place against Argentina. But I just think that the juggernaut, the defending champions, the powerhouse, the physicality from the South Africans, and also that if Fiji had issues in their set piece against some lesser nations, they're definitely gonna have massive issues against South Africans because they are the best scrummages. Again, all the weaknesses of the Fijian team, although massively improved, it's going to be once again exposed by the South Africans. I think that the South African scrummaging and CP is just on another level. Finally, the French versus Argentina. I think the French will win this one. I just think that Carreras the style, the expansive style, I think the French backline is just a little bit faster, a little bit more harder. Jonathan Danty and FQ is just going to be a little bit more physical in that 10 channel, giving troubles to Carreras. And I just think that the French team, in every aspect in the back line is just slightly better, slightly faster, slightly more physical in the centers over the Argentinians. And I think the French team will win this one. And the final will be the Springboks versus the Resistance. Now, you might think that I would just pick the Springboks because 50% of my channel is South Africans. And if I select the French team, I'm going to lose like 50% of my subscribers. So obviously, it's going to be the South Africans, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to lose 50% of my viewership, right? No, it's going to be the South Africans. No, okay. Now, here's my justification for this. because I do, the way that South Africa has been building up to this, the way that the depths the South African teams have, and the fact that the French front rowers, Cyril Bay, the loose head prop, has a bit of injury going to this World Cup, so he might be iffy going into this match if available at all. So I do think that the key area that the South Africans will be targeting in the scrummaging, in the set piece, the French is going to struggle a little bit. In the center positions, I do think that the French may have a little bit better, a little bit more power in the center position in Jonathan Danty and Fiku. And if South Africa I hope they put on Esterhazen instead of DLND, because Esterhazen would match up much better against the French. And outside center, maybe I think they might put on Jesse Krill just because that's the traditional, but Kenan Moody will be a much better option with more speed over Fiku. That's a really interesting matchup to see how they're going to put out in that team. And I just think that the forwards battle is just going to be a little bit too much. The fullbacks, I think South Africa is really good. Have 2 world-class fullbacks with Villa and with more of an attacking option. And then they've got Damien Willems to come off the bench with more of a defensive option under the high ball. And I think that the wingers was really well matched up as well. The French has got what's his name, Damien Penaud and Villiers on the wing, whereas South Africa obviously has Makazole Mapimpi and then Cheslin Kobe, who's both of them are probably not even considered the top wingers anymore, behind Kurdi Arensa. So the South African wingers are so stacked as well. Even with injuries, they're still like best in the world in the wing position. And the lineouts, they got 4 world-class locks now with Aki Snyman returning and John Klein joining in. And obviously Eben Nesbitt has been holding down the fort quite well for the last few years. And I just think that the South Africans will edge out up front over the French and win the Rugby World Cup. Yeah, let me know your predictions. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I do appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who donated money and subscribed to my Patreon and that stuff. I really do appreciate that as well. Helps me a lot, especially at a time like this. The inflation rate's going up through the roof, and donating me your hard-earned money is really I really do appreciate that. It's really tough for everybody out there, and to send some help my way, I'm really grateful for that. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys later this week for the previews. And then I'll be doing commentary for the opening match, France versus New Zealand. So tune in for that on YouTube on this channel. Thanks for watching. Cheers.